the condition that provides for use when you get an approved development on a piece of property limits what you're going to do, essentially what you've asked for, and not to all the other things that could potentially happen, so that people have to come back through the process again if they want to change what they're doing, which was the reason I said what I did about the assembly area, because if it changes, then we'll be looking at it again.
So the zoning request here is for 1,400 square feet as a church and 44,000 square feet as an office building. Is that correct?
In effect, that's correct. I believe there are some related church uses, and Woody can respond to that.
So,
no, that's not correct.
Well, then, so what are you going to do? Just leave the rest of it empty?
No, it is. Definitely the use will be for church use. The whole point of what I was talking about, the code, that's the code required parking.
You mean
so
the whole
site will be church use, just as if you go down the street and a typical Methodist church, or you go up the street in the Presbyterian church, and they'll have offices, they'll have Sunday school rooms, gym, whatever, but they are parked based on the use of the site.
Yeah, but they've got, most of those churches have over 1,000 parking spaces. So I mean, that's not. But let me get back to my primary question. I mean, I hear what you're saying about the rule, but looking at it in a common sense vein, Nancy, how in the world are they going to? You mean they're going to spend $3 million or multi-million dollars renovating that site, and only going to use 1,400 square feet?
No, that's the place of public assembly. The remainder of the site is other things. What we're going to do is assess all of the uses that are going to go on in the building and the hours of operation, and we'll be able to address those issues. But keep in mind what is happening here, and I think it's really important that you do. If it were an office use in that building, everybody would be coming in the morning and leaving in the afternoon. This is one where you have the non-traditional hours, where you've got people coming in through the day and into the evening, and you've got a lot of weekend activity. So it doesn't mean that there aren't issues. They're just different issues than if it were straight office use.
Well, but how do we know that it's not going to be used as an office, the rest of that space, and everybody's going to come in the morning and leave in the afternoon, except when 200 people show up? Then it'll be office plus 200. Plus, we already know that there are not enough parking spaces even for an office without an assembly area. And it's at the, there's no entrance to this place that's over 100 yards from the intersection of Roswell Road and Glenridge Drive.
And clearly the access is a huge issue. Obviously we're going to be looking at all of those issues. The answer is I don't have all of the answers for you now. What I'm telling you is that that's the kind of thing that we're going to be working through, and those are the biggest issues that you've raised. Yes, sir.
Nancy, just one quick question. I hope. Did I understand that the parking requirement for the church is based on the largest assembly area?
That's correct.
For every 30 square feet in the largest assembly area, there must be one parking spot. What if in this building we have the 1,400 square foot assembly area and then 6 other 1,200 feet assembly areas?
Well, as I said, we're going.
What does the code say on that?
We'll be evaluating. No, we don't. We take the place of largest public assembly.
The code says that we take the largest one?
Yeah.
Okay.
That may mean that we've got to address parking issues on the site, but the answer is we've got to have more information to do that. Yeah.
I'm sorry to keep.
That's okay.
Well, but one more question. If you look at the site for the Atlanta church and the renderings of what they plan to do, there's more than one area that looks like an assembly area in the renderings. If you go to the site for San Francisco, there are multiple areas that are assembly areas. Now, I don't know how that all works, but the stated objective of the church here is to grow to be a similar size to New York, Chicago, and San Francisco. And so, yes, if today that's all they're going to do is have a few people there, but they're spending multi-million dollars, is what the attorney said, on renovating the space. I know in my church, if we spend multi-million dollars on everything, we use the hell out of it. So I don't understand.
Great strategy.
I don't understand how this makes any sense. I guess that's what I'm asking.
Well, and I
That's
think that I
possible.
can respond to that. What we're going to do is go through and analyze all of the things that are occurring on the site and try to address them in an appropriate way. And that's why you raised these issues tonight and why we're here to take that information. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
It sounds disturbing.
Just 1 second.
I beg your
Woman
pardon,
behind you
somebody in the back?
has had her hand up.
I have a question for Mr. Galloway, several of them, so,
Please go ahead.
what?
I didn't know you raised your hand.
You didn't address as WISE or CCHR or Applied Scholastics or any of those going to be moving in there. You said Narconon wasn't. What about Drug-Free Marshals or any other groups?
None of those that you've named is going to move in. I don't know all the different affiliated groups, but none of those that you've named is going to move in.
Okay, and you said right now they have 44 that show up?
No, I've said that the average attendance at the Dunwoody location, it averages about 20 for the 11 a.m. service. I've also indicated that is not the emphasized thing. The emphasized thing is for people to come in and take course studies.
Right, I just think it's interesting that they have 20 people like you're talking about, but they still needed 11,000 square feet where they're at right now. I mean, what are they doing with all that extra square footage?
You know, that's up to them, and that's not the subject of this application.
But as I indicated, we'll take a look at the facility in Dunwoody. We'll give you some sense of how it's operating. I'm not going to tell you that this will operate the same, and I don't know that they are required to operate it the same, but what we will do is look at it. Yes, Mr. Beach.
I don't know what all these acronyms are that are being mentioned, but could I, well, you probably have a better way of getting to know what I do. Are they, can you find out, are they accommodated in the main building in San Francisco, in Buffalo, in New York, in London, in Johannesburg, and all these other places? Why are they not going to be accommodated here? You've got lots of space.
I think typically they are not accommodated at these other facilities, and they're not going to be accommodated here. Narconon is, for example, that's the drug treatment course or program, and that is something that's separate and apart from the church itself. It is not something that they will have at this church. They don't typically have it at their churches, and they don't have it at the Dunwoody location.
I'm not asking you to identify where it is at the moment. It's separate from
Yes,
the
sir.
Dunwoody location.
Yes, sir.
Attorney?
You want to let her, since you haven't asked one yet?
Oh, I'm sorry.
So we go to the woman right here. Yes, yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, the woman.
This is history, and I'm sure many of you are aware of it, but I'm from Glenridge, directly across the street. And we have been working with Fulton County for 8 to 10 years on making the Round Hill, the Blemish Drive, Russellwood. And in so doing, we want one light to take care of all of these, and it's possible. And we've worked this out with Fulton County. However, what it meant is that it would take the corner of the point of the building under discussion, and they would lose another 8 parking spaces if Sandy Springs ever gets the money to go ahead and make that improvement. We need to respond to that.
Unless you know that.
I know something about it.
Okay. That was actually, Fulton County continues to own that property, but they have allowed this building to have parking there. As you may or may not know, there is provision in the zoning ordinance which says that if a development loses a portion of its parking or any of its property,